All right, I'm no flashlight reviewer. I've owned a few quality flashlights in my time of being into gear, but you guys asked for a video on this light right here, which is the Jaeger light or the Tactician or the Surefire E2T-MV. This is the light that James Jaeger had some input in designing with Surefire, and I believe that started maybe roughly over the summer or so, and there were a few revisions that came out, and maybe around October, I think the pre-order went up, and we had to wait a little bit. And part of that holdup was they put an extra heavy-duty clip on these, which was one of the requests that I think, or one of the suggestions that I think James had when he was helping them design the light. And well, apparently when Surefire got their shipment of clips, the clips weren't up to standard, so Surefire sent them back and said, no thank you, please send me some more. That is part of the reason why I would buy a light like this. That says a lot to me that a company is not just accepting whatever junk comes in their door, because we all know that nowadays companies are about the bottom line and just about, how quickly they can turn the product around. So that says a lot to me that this is an American built light, and they actually care about their product enough that if a part's not up to their standard, they send it back and say try again. Now with that said, this light here, I've already had some discussion with a couple of my friends. A couple of my friends are looking at this as more of an EDC light. I don't necessarily think that I would use this as an EDC light, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. The first reason I wouldn't use it as an EDC light is this is a momentary light, meaning that it does not stay on. When you press this in, it goes on to high, and that's it. The second reason is you can't really tell how much light that is, but this is a well-lit room, and you can see it's flooding out all the light in this room. This is 800 lumens, but the best way I can describe this is when you go to the dentist, or if you've ever had stitches or something like that, and they bring that big white bright light over your head and they shine it down into your mouth, or they shine it down onto whatever they're stitching up. That's what this light is like. In my opinion, I can't think of too many EDC tasks where I'm going to want that much light. Now, what you could say is, well, I can turn the light on and I can twist this head, and now I've got 5 lumens. And 5 lumens may be okay for some, but I don't know. 5 lumens is a little bit dim for me. I'd prefer something a little bit higher, 15, 20, 30 lumens on the low end of things if it was me, but that is just me. So those would be 2 reasons why I would not use this as an EDC flashlight. But those are some of the basic features of the light. I'll read off a couple of the specs for you. This has a high of 800 lumens, as I mentioned, with a runtime of 1 hour. It has a low of 5 lumens, which has a runtime of 70 hours, and an intensity of 10,000 candela. It's 3.5 ounces in weight. It's 5 inches long, and that's 99 grams and 12.7 centimeters in length, and the bezel diameter is 1 inch. So that's the other thing that makes it an interesting light for me. Would I like a light for this? Would I like a light like this for EDC? Absolutely, because I've got extra large hands, and this light fits perfectly in my hand where I can easily access this tail cap and turn this light on. That would be awesome for me in an EDC light. But again, I don't think that a momentary switch is something that I would want for EDC, because if I want a light on, I might be working with my hands, so I might need to turn that light on, and I might need to lay it down. And I don't really, 5 lumens is probably gonna be too low. 800 lumens is most definitely going to be too high, especially if I'm working at something 3, 4, 5 feet away from me. So I definitely think this is a tactical light, something that you need to carry on in conjunction with your gun, or something you need to have on your nightstand. Which, there are different schools of thought on that. I personally have for my home defense weapon, I have a light mounted to that weapon, but This here, you know, some people prefer to carry a separate standalone light to their weapon. So that's personal preference. The other thing with the length of this light is, as like I said, it's the Tactician, so this is technically a tactical light. If I'm holding this light, you know, like I was going to use it, if I need to strike something, this bezel is not only strong, but it's also sticking out of my hand just enough for me to, you know, use it as an impact tool. Few other features, it does have this lanyard loop that comes on the back. I know a couple of people that I've talked to have already gotten rid of this. Again, personal preference. I guess it depends on how you want to carry it. It does carry bezel up. I know that's going to be, you know, not something that some people are looking for. They want something that carries bezel down. It comes with a lanyard, and it also comes with 2 additional Surefire CR123 batteries. So you have 2 in here already from the factory, and then it comes with an additional 2. So I think that's a pretty good deal. I mean, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you from a tabletop review. It's built very well. It seems like it's going to hold up very well. It's very bright. I do think the low mode has some value if you just need a light, you know, something for very close at the 5 lumens. But like I said, in my personal opinion, this is more of a pure tactical light than an EDC light. Now, uses vary, needs vary, so you'll have to sort that out for yourself. I know a couple of people asked me to do some beam shots. It's not quite dark outside yet. I'll do my best to get out and shoot you some beam shots and roll that in a little bit later. But as far as the tabletop, like I said, it's a good solid light, but I definitely think this is more of a tactical light than an EDC light. So take that for what it's worth. I'll be back later with some beam shots for you. By the time you see this video come up in my my playlist, it'll be a significant delay from the unboxing to when I actually posted this, but that's because it's been cold outside and I just haven't really been motivated to get out there and do some comparisons, or actually just use this light so you guys can see exactly how bright it is and the pattern of the beam. But while I'm doing that, I pulled out a few flashlights that I had laying around the house that are pretty common. This is a 3-cell Maglite flashlight with the LCD element. This is the Surefire Tactician, which of course the video is about. This is the Olight S30R baton. Let's see, here we are. The Olight S30R baton. This is rechargeable. You can sit it on a base. It takes a single 18650 battery, either rechargeable or not, and I believe the max output on that light is 1100 lumen. This here is the Prometheus Beta QR V2, and this takes a single AAA battery, only takes lithium because of it being copper, and I believe the output, don't quote me on this, but I believe the output for this light is 100 lumens, 200 lumens, somewhere in that ballpark. So just a good, just little EDC light. I believe that's all other than actually doing the beam shots. But now I'm going to cut to something I didn't show before, which is how the Tactician rides in the pocket. So that'll give you guys an idea of what it'll ride like in your pocket and how easy it is to get in or out of your pocket. Oh, that's one other thing I'll talk to you guys about. We talked about the fact that these were sent back because these clips weren't up to Surefire standard, and you can see exactly how much effort it takes to really pull that clip out and how much it snaps back. This here is an Olight flashlight, and you can see I'm barely moving my thumb and this clip comes out. So you can see the difference from one flashlight to the other. But that's really it for now. Like I said, I'm going to cut now to a piece of video where I show you guys how the Surefire Tactician rides in the pocket. This is how the Surefire Tactician rides in the pocket. You can see it rides bezel up, and you pull it out just like that. It's pretty easy. Now these are my TAD intercepts, which, like I said, they have this yoke pocket up here, separate from the actual back pocket. So I know this is how I would carry them in my pants, but I know most of you guys are going to be carrying yours down here like this. So I'll also give you an example of that. So you can see that's about how much it sticks up out of your pocket if you're going to carry it just in your back pocket. But again, it's easy to grab, flip around, and just press it and it's on. So that's how it rides in the pocket. Okay, I'm going to run the beam test now. The first light up is going to be the Prometheus Beta QR V2, and we're roughly at 20 yards. So the first setting is 1 lumen. The second setting is 15 lumens. And the third setting is 85 lumens. Having a little trouble getting it dialed in there. So that's 85, and you can see I have a gas can down there. The next light we'll use is going to be the mag light, and the mag light has a rating of 45 lumens. So you can see it's very focused, a very dense hotspot. The next light that we're going to pull up is going to be the Olight S3 baton, or S30R baton rather. And the first setting, hold on a second guys, it's dark out here. Let me find where the switch is at. Okay, the first setting is going to be 120, the second setting 500, and the third setting 1050. And that's on turbo, actually, I forgot to say, because I set it on the highest level before I left the house. So that's 1050. And that's it cycling through the modes. That's the lowest mode. That's the next highest at 500. And then that is 1050. And finally, this is the Surefire Tactician at 800 lumens. So that's 800 lumens from the Surefire Tactician. And just for a comparison with the other light that was the brightest I have out here, this is the Olight S30R at 10,050 lumens, or 1,050 lumens rather, excuse me. 800 from the Surefire, 1050 from the Olight S30R baton. Well, that was the beam comparison of the lights I laid out here. I did struggle a little bit getting that one set exactly where I wanted it. I apologize for that, but it is what it is. That probably wasn't the most fair comparison anyway, but you saw this light still does put out a pretty decent amount of light for a single AAA battery light. One note I want to mention, I know the audio might have been a little bit low in that last part, and I'll probably bump it up in the edit. I'm trying to get better with all the editing with the sound levels and the lighting and so on and so forth. But I was out in the backyard, and it's already weird for me to be out in the backyard just shining lights at random. So I didn't want my neighbors to think I was a total weirdo. So that's why I was kind of close to the microphone. So hopefully you could hear everything, but I did kind of whisper. My final thoughts. This is a video purely about the Tactician, but I'll kind of mention a few of these lights. I was impressed by the throw on this one, this Old Faithful, and I guess that's why they've been around so long. So good on this. I was somewhat impressed by the amount of light that this one put out. These two, I guess, were the closest competitors. And I think that these two really represent two different categories, in my opinion. This is a purely, and I didn't show the 5 lumens setting on this, which I should have, but I didn't. I'm sorry. This is more of a purely tactical light, as I said in the beginning of the video, because really you just have that 800 lumens or pretty much nothing. I mean, you can, adjust it down to 5, but that's after the fact. This light here, I think that it has a good amount of light equal to or greater than this, which you can also see the difference in true ratings of lumens, because this is only 800. This was 1050, but they were pretty close, guys. I mean, you guys saw the video. I think they were pretty close, almost indistinguishable. This one didn't seem to have quite as much spill, and this one definitely seemed to have way more spill and be possibly a little bit brighter. Definitely it was a little more neutral light. But this light here has multiple settings. So not only can you have a very low setting, you can have kind of a medium general setting, but then if you did need to use it for something where you needed a crazy amount of light, you could turn it on to turbo. Now, the one thing that I never liked about this light is where the button is placed. But again, if this is going to be your EDC light, this is going to be a lot more forgiving for you with the different settings. This here is definitely better built. The output is definitely cleaner. It definitely spills more, which lights up more of the area. And I feel as though this is a better purely tactical light. So I like this light, guys. I still need to put it through some paces. I still need to carry it a bit, but first impressions, tabletop stuff, taken out in the backyard, carrying it around for a few days, I think this is a solid option for a purely tactical light. Now, I don't always support or encourage buying things that aren't made in America. And I had a question about that in another video down in the comments. I'll get into that in another video if you guys want to hear my take on that. But for the money, and this actually was a gift, but for the money, if you're just your average everyday guy and you just need an EDC light for various tasks, I think that a light like this is hard to beat. But if you're looking for something that's purely tactical, I think that, and something you can stake your life on, I think that this is hard to beat. The track record of Surefire, the build quality, the quality of the light, just everything. Now, like I said, it is a little bit more expensive, but it's 100% made in the United States to the highest quality, and the function is there. So overall, I like the light. I suggest the light. If you have the money in your budget, I definitely would pick it up. I'll follow up with another video once I have a little bit more time with the light. But for now, that's going to end the video. And guys, remember, a lazy man carries a dull night.